Dear grandchild, if you're reading this, you've inherited the farm. And we took that personally. Time to turn this old plot of dirt into a farming empire. In this video I'm playing together with Tigo. We have about as much Stardew experience, and because of that we have set ourselves a few goals. We want to complete the community center, make 1 million gold in 100 days. It's a lot, but I believe we can do it. And we want to reach Ginger Island. This is our 100 days of Stardew Valley. We woke up on the first day of spring just to see a box with 15 parsnips in our houses. While I was making space to plant them all, Tigo was buying some more parsnip seeds. When he got back, and I was done with clearing out the farm, I went to look for some forage. But not before I crafted a chest. I found 3 dandelions, 1 horseradish and 2 spring onions. I swiftly sold everything to Pierre and I bought 9 more parsnip seeds. Back on the farm, Tigo had already planted all the other seeds. I added the 9 I just got along with a few mixed seeds. After that, it had already been a long day, so we went to bed. On day 2, we got mail from my favorite fisherman, Willy. We were able to pick up our first fishing rod on the pier. We wanted to go there, but then remembered to also water the crops first. Tigo already went to the pier, so he had a head start with his fishing level. I followed quickly after though, and we took our rods up to the mountain lake. And we fished the day away. Day 3 was a rainy day, so that meant we didn't have to water our crops. I went up to the mountain lake, and Tigo was going to Willy. He sold all of his fish and wanted to buy a fiberglass rod. Only he wasn't fishing level 2 yet. So I went to the beach, bought him that rod and gave it to him. Oh, and also, I made another chest up here, so we don't have to take our fish back to the farm every day. Today we didn't sell any fish, and when the clock said it was bedtime, we went to bed. When we woke up on day 4, the rain had passed and it made way for the sun again. This is the last day we needed to water our crops, since they should be done by tomorrow. Speaking of last day, this would also be my last day I had to fish for cash, because the mines open by tomorrow. Even just the thought of doing something else except fishing already filled my brain with excitement. Waking up on day 5 always means your first harvest. Today was no different. We decided to let Tigo harvest everything so he could level his farming level up to level 6 for the quality sprinklers. We wanted to get those before we were going to plant all of our strawberries, which we will buy on day 13. So when all of them were harvested, he bought a lot of potato seeds while I was mining to get to floor 80 in the mines. I was doing that because in order to make quality sprinklers, you need to get gold, which only spawns on floor 80 or below. Today was a very good day for me, since I got to floor 20 and got my hands on 53 copper. When I got back on the farm, Tigo actually managed to plant all the potato seeds and he was able to water them. When I woke up on day 6, Clint came by to give me the furnace blueprint. The rest of the day was much of the same though. Tigo watered all the crops and I hit the mines. I finished the day with 9 copper bars and got to floor 30. Not too bad. I didn't see much of Tigo today, so who knows what he was up to. Day 7, 8 and 9 were much of the same, for both of us. Only on day 9, Tigo had fished enough money so I could bring my pickaxe in for an upgrade. The rest of the day was spent mining with Tigo's pickaxe and I reached floor 60. One of these past 3 days has been a rainy day, so Tigo caught a catfish in the town river. Mind you, he has also been watering all crops every day so I could focus on mining. On day 10, I wasn't able to do much mining because of my luck that day. I only got 5 floors and that brought me to floor 65, so I had to go to bed feeling disappointed. Day 11, however, was a wonderful day. Tigo was able to pick all the potatoes, and it just didn't push him over the line to level 6 farming. But that's all good since he sold all the potatoes straight to Pierre and bought some more parsnips. And I was ready to pick up my pickaxe after waiting outside Clint's for a few hours. So I picked that up and hit the mines yet again. It was a much better day than yesterday since I got to floor 75. I had just 5 more floors to go. That night we made exactly 17k gold by just selling potatoes. Day 12 started with a surprise. Demetrius was knocking on my door asking if I wanted the mushroom or the fruit bat cave. I chose fruit bats because they drop many different foods that I will need later on for the community center. While this was going on, Tigo was checking the traveling card for a red cabbage sheet. The red cabbage is also necessary for the community center, and the traveling card is the only way to get one. In year 1 that is. He will be doing this every Friday and Sunday. When Demetrius was gone, I went back to the mines and got to floor 80 before noon, which meant I could start farming ores for sprinklers, and that's what I did for the rest of the day. Day 13 was a special day, and not because I was helping watering the crops. No, it was the day of the egg festival. That meant one thing: buying strawberry seeds. Tigo emptied out our wallet and bought 185 of them. That's not bad at all. We also did the egg hunt and I came out on top with 10 eggs total. And Lewis gave me a straw hat as a reward, which back on the farm I put on our cat, Cello. I haven't told you about him yet, but Marty brought him a few days ago. On day 14 we didn't have to plant the strawberries just yet. That's cause we didn't have enough materials for the sprinklers, but also cause you can plant the strawberries on day 16 and still get 2 harvests. That gave us just a little extra room for collecting the final resources. And that's what I did for the rest of the day. And I'm not sure about Tigo. On day 15 the last few parsnips were ready. Tigo picked just as much as he needed to get farming level 6 and let me pick the rest, so I could also level up. We also went to the mines together for a change, and we collected some more resources for our sprinklers. We needed to make 24 sprinklers and we finished about half of them today. Oh, and I got level 5 mining. I chose the miner perk, which gives 1 extra ore per vein. It was time to plant strawberry seeds on day 16. While Tigo was doing that, I went to get some more gold from the mines and took the furnaces back to the farm to help him water all the strawberries. We managed to get all the strawberries planted and watered, but we didn't have enough time to smelt all the gold. But waking up on day 17, we were lucky. Since it was raining, we didn't have to water the rest. I was also able to make most of the remaining sprinklers right when I woke up. For the rest of the day I gathered some items for the community center that were still in my chest in the mines. Over the past few days we've been collecting a lot of community center items already. And on day 18 we decided it was time to build a coop on the farm. We didn't have enough resources yet, so we have to collect some more. When we had enough wood, I went into town to construct the coop, but was stopped by Lewis showing me around the abandoned community center. There was this weird thing on the ground in a language I did not speak. After this weird occurrence, however, I went to Robin to request a coop construction. But not before Tigo mined that one stone that was in the way. And we totally forgot about building a silo. But we just collected some clay from our farm, which took way too long. After this long day, we went to bed. We got special mail from the wizard on day 19. I speak multiple languages, but since Junimo is not one of them, we went to the wizard to learn it. On my way back I checked the traveling cart and there was nothing useful as usual. For the rest of the day I went to farm some more copper bars. We will later need those for building a silo. In the meantime, Tigo was donating all his spring foraging items to the community center. When I got back to the farm late in the evening, I smelted all the copper into bars and we went to bed. On day 20 we were a bit short on cash for the silo we wanted to construct somewhere in the coming days. So I went fishing up in the mountain lake for today. I was still holding out pretty well with that bamboo rod, but an upgrade would be nice. After a few hours Tigo joined me for the day and we just fished until late in the evening and we went back to the farm. Day 21 was a Sunday, which meant the traveling cart has returned to the valley. It didn't have anything of use though. Robin was also done with building our coop, so I went to Marnie's ranch to buy us some chickens. I still had to wait outside for a few hours, but with some patience I bought 2 chickens, Nomoka and Menoka. I didn't come up with the names, but they go very well together. Later that day, while I was just walking around the farm, Tigo was donating items to Gunther at the museum and requested a silo at Robin's. I didn't do much else that day and went to bed early. On day 22 I went over to the mines at the start of the day to pick up a cave carrot and a quartz to hand into the community center. I was gonna donate the cave carrot to the... oh, never mind. And the quartz to the boiler room, which was actually the last one we needed since Tigo had already donated the rest. I also donated some other things to the community center that day, but this was the most important part. Back on the farm I smelted some more ores and checked in on the chickens, since we weren't able to feed them yet. During the night of day 23, the minecarts were repaired. When I woke up that day, I walked over to Clint to upgrade my pickaxe to steel, and I walked over there, because it's healthy, not because I forgot about the minecarts. I also let Clint crack some geodes. The new minerals I got, I delivered straight to the museum. When I got back to the farm, I fed our chickens since Robin finished building the silo yesterday, and Tigo completed the construction bundle today. On day 24, I was able to harvest the first strawberries. So when I harvested them, I shipped all of them off right away. I also felt like fishing again, so that's what I did for the rest of the day. And Tigo said he was doing something on the farm. So when I got back to the farm late in that evening, I found out he had built a tree farm. He even lit it up with some torches. It looked very pretty. I also shipped all the fish I caught that day, and we went to bed. At the start of day 25, I was waiting outside Clint's for a few hours so I could collect my newly upgraded pickaxe. I decided to immediately take it to the mines to test it out, and also gather some more ores. When I got home, I smelted some more ores I gathered into bars and called it a day. Day 26 was an amazing day, and no, not because of the rain, but because I checked the traveling cart, and he was finally selling a red cabbage seed. This was huge to get it this early on, so we didn't have to wait on the greenhouse. We could just plant it in summer. So I went back to the farm and stored it in the chest, and I went back to hitting the mines, to collect some more ores that is. Tigo has been fishing today for some more money. Day 27 started out by me petting the chicken and putting their eggs into mayo machines. I'm not sure when we built those, but it was probably Tigo while I was in the mines. It may not be surprising, but I went to the mines today, with a different goal in mind than the other days though. I wanted to get to level 100 to get that sweet star drop. And that's what I did. I hit level 100 in the mines and ate the star drop. The taste reminded me of mangoes. What a coincidence. It was getting late when I got back to the farm, and I went home to sleep, but when I opened my door, my table moved right in front of my door. I don't remember doing that. There's only one person on the farm who could. Nah, you wouldn't do that. Day 28 was the last day of spring and also the last strawberry harvest. I picked all of the strawberries and crafted some more sprinklers with the resources I collected earlier this week. I also changed the layout a little bit. This took me almost the whole day, and when I was done calculating how many seeds we should buy, it was already bedtime. Waking up on the first day of summer, day 29, our pockets were filled with cash again. A great day to spend some cash on summer seeds at Pierre's. I bought 1 tomato seed, 1 pepper seed, 26 melon seeds for the quality crops bundle, and with that 25 fertilizer and 297 blueberry seeds. Back on the farm, Tigo had already hoed all the land, so I just planted all the seeds and we watered everything together. We also made some extra scarecrows, and by the time everything was done, it was getting late, so we just hit the sack for that day. On day 30 I went back to Pierre. I had forgotten to buy a few things. A sunflower seed, a poppy seed and an apple tree sapling. I also bought myself the first backpack upgrade. Tigo will also be buying this in one of the coming days, of course. Tigo had spent today fishing the summer fish for the community center. I had a few hours to spare today, so I decided I'd spend it in the mines, and I got another 5 floors lower today. Day 31 was also spent in the mines by me. While I was deep underground, Tigo was donating some more items to the community center. I got to floor 115 today, just 5 more floors for the bottom of the mines. With that in mind, you can probably guess what I did on day 32. Well, I went to Clint actually, to upgrade my axe to copper, and Tigo also upgraded his axe. After that I did go to the mines though, and when I reached floor 120, I picked up the skull cavern key. Back on the farm I saw neither of us had given the chickens food yet, so I went ahead and gave them some hay. After that I just roamed around the valley. I don't really know why. I really don't know. Tigo was still out fishing around this time and caught the pufferfish and handed it into the community center. On day 33 I stopped by Robin to buy some floor recipes while Tigo donated a few extra items to the community center. I didn't use them right away though. I was going to fish for some extra money and fishing EXP. When I got back that day I saw that Robin was constructing a barn on our farm, which was great. I also used the floor recipe that I bought earlier. I wanted to make the farm look a bit better, so I put down some stone walkways. I still had a bit left unfinished, so I finished it on day 34. Also, my axe was ready, so I picked that up and donated a pepper to the summer crops bundle. Tigo has been gathering wood for the day, for the big coop upgrade we were planning on building in a few days. I also took my new axe for a spin on the farm by chopping down some trees. And after a long day of chopping down trees, we slipped into bed as the stars came out. Day 34 was the day I finally decided to buy a new fishing rod instead of the bamboo rod. I just went big and bought myself the iridium rod. I didn't use it today because there were still many chores for me waiting on the farm. I gave the chickens food and I sorted out all the chests, which was really necessary. I don't know what I was doing here, but I stood here for a few hours. I think I was giving the scarecrow some company. Well, I don't know. On day 36 we kicked off the day by clearing out some land on the farm for some extra wood. Right after that I took the fresh chopped wood to Robin and asked her to upgrade our coop to a big coop. For the rest of the day I spent some more time cutting down trees in the Cindersap forest. I started day 37 off by petting our chickens and swiftly followed that up by giving them some food. There was also a poppy ready to be harvested. I immediately brought it to the community center, then I just went back to the farm to clear it from debris. When I was done, around noon, I went back to the cindersap forest to gather some wood. I did that for the rest of the day. When I walked out on day 38, I found the red cabbage and the sunflower ready to be harvested. So that's what I did. I headed over to the community center and handed them in. I was also able to remove the big boulders on the farm now, since Tigo borrowed my pickaxe yesterday. And then I just fished the day away. In the night between day 38 and day 39, the fairy came by for the first time. So when we woke up, I harvested the crops that the fairies had sprinkled, and Tigo just went to donate the blueberry and the melon. Today was also the day of the luau, only we had totally forgotten about it. So we did the best we could and put our ingredients in the pot. Let's just say that the governor was not pleased. We woke up on day 40 to a tomato ready to be harvested, so that's what I did. I picked a tomato and dropped it off right at the community center. And that was also the last item for the summer crops bundle. The rest of my day was pretty boring, but Tigo has done a lot today. He cracked all the geodes we still had and donated a lot of minerals and artifacts to the museum. He also bought a cow, Columo, and a duck, Guckert. On day 41 the rest of the melons were ready to be harvested. We needed 5 gold quality melons for the quality crops bundle. We got 4. It's not that big of a deal though, I just ran to Pierre and picked up 16 more melon seeds. And I also planted them of course. The rest of the day I spent fishing again, while Tigo was in the mines. At the end of the day I shed my fish for some extra cash and we went to bed. Day 42 was a weird day. There was green rain, which led to some weird trees around the valley, and a lot of fiber on our farm. So we collected all the fiber around the farm, and that's when I realized that the blueberries were ready for picking. So I picked all the blueberries and put them into the shipping bin. This harvest pushed me to level 9 farming. The next harvest will probably get me to level 10. For the rest of the day we chopped down some more of those unusual trees around the valley. On day 43 I went to do the animals, and I saw that Guckert had grown up. He even laid his first egg, which I accidentally put in a mayo machine instead of the community center. But hey, that's alright, he will lay another egg in a day or two, so it doesn't really matter. Columo was still a little cow, and that was probably because he was alone in that barn. So I went to Robin's so we could get a barn upgrade, so I could get Columo a goat in the coming few days. I didn't have much else to do that day, so I just fished for the rest of the day. When I walked into the barn on day 44, I saw 2 different things. Robin was upgrading the barn, but most importantly, Columo had grown up. So later that day, Tigo milked him and donated the cheese to the artisan bundle. And I fished for the rest of the day. I'm starting to see a pattern here. So for the days 45, 46, 47 and 48 I did just that. I fished every day in the mountain lake and had saved my fish in the chest. On day 45 I did request an update on the barn, which will get upgraded to a deluxe barn. Tigo also popped by Marnie's ranch and bought a goat. On day 46 there was a blueberry harvest, which got me to farming level 10. And that's also when I realized I chose the wrong perk on level 5. I will have to change that in the sewer later. And on day 48 Tigo completed the exotic foraging bundle. And on the days 49 and 50 I was also still fishing. You see, I really wanted to get level 10 fishing so I could sell everything I caught over the past few days. And on day 49 we felt like spending some money. So we upgraded our pickaxes to gold and axes to iron. And waking up on day 50 there was a new blueberry harvest, which Tigo was now harvesting to get his farming level up. On day 51 we had enough money to finally buy the vault in the community center. So I bought the whole thing and the bus should be repaired by tomorrow. Today was my last day fishing. For a while. I promise. That was because I got level 10 fishing and was now able to sell all fish with a 50% bonus. And in the night going into day 52, the bus was repaired and the desert was unlocked. When I woke up however, I didn't go to the desert. Tigo did. He was going to catch a sandfish for the exotic fishing bundle. The first thing I did today was wait outside Marnie's ranch for a few hours. Afterwards I went outside and bought some more animals for our farm. I bought a rabbit called Pratu, another cow called Zasper, a chicken called Pro, and one more chicken, Truno. I didn't come up with these names. It's the game. Really. I don't know if it was because of the new animals, but Guckert was running away from Tigo. Maybe he just wanted to pick another duck feather. For the rest of the day, I just hit the mines, since we were low on all resources. I did that for the rest of the day. And when I got back, I also sold off all my fish I had saved up. We made a total of 44k gold. Not bad for just fish. When I looked at what we still needed for the community center on day 53, I realized we were still missing a frozen geode, so I quickly dropped one off on my way to the mines. My haul for today wasn't too bad actually. Oh, and earlier this day I also bought the price catalog, since the bookseller was in town today. It wasn't too expensive, so I figured I'd just pick it up. On day 54 we had our last blueberry harvest of the season. Tigo picked it of course, he was farming level 9 after this harvest. The rest of the day I just went to the mines to gather some more resources. Tigo also bought a pig today. On day 55 there was a battery pack waiting for me in the lightning rod from yesterday's thunderstorm. We only had one lightning rod until now. The rest of the days was, again, spent in the mines by me. I found my first mystery box too. Not that special, nor was I gonna open it, but I thought I'd just mention it. Day 56 is the last day of summer. I spent the day doing some chores around the farm. Tigo, on the other hand, went to check the traveling cart, and he found a piece of cloth, the last thing we needed for the artisan bundle, so he dropped it off right at the community center. We also bought the final backpack upgrade today, since we had a lot of money from all those blueberries. For the rest of the day, I was doing some calculations in the middle of the field, to see how many seeds we would be able to buy tomorrow. At the end of the day, I wanted to go to bed, but Tigo reminded me of the jellies on the beach, and of course, I didn't want to miss that. Day 57 is the first day of fall, so I started the day like any season, by buying seeds from Pierre. I bought all of his seasonal crops and 304 pumpkin seeds. You see, we're gonna be making a lot of cakes very soon, so we can put the pumpkins in to make juice. Back on the farm I planted all the seeds, including the 2 rare seeds Tigo bought from the traveling cart a few weeks ago. I also extended the path to the bottom a little, so it looked a bit nicer. Late in the evening Tigo got his hands on the first few oak resin from the tree farm. So he immediately made some cakes and put them in front of the fruit bat cave. On day 58 I was caring for the animals when I saw that the rabbit had some wool. I didn't even know rabbits dropped wool, but I wasn't complaining. I just ran over to the community center and finished the animal bundle. Afterwards I went to the beach to see if there was any sign of a cockle. That was the last item we needed for the crab pot bundle. But sadly it wasn't there. So I just bought a crab pot and put it in the sea. I also read the quest board, but didn't feel like doing any of these quests, so I just didn't take any. And when I checked what we still needed for the community center, it wasn't much. We were really close and should be able to complete it in the first few days of winter. After not doing anything on the farm on day 59, I decided it was time to go to Robin and move the barn so we could make a nice outside area for the animals. Back on the farm, I also moved the machines and made a better path. Late in the evening, I also placed some fences, so the animals wouldn't just go everywhere over the farm, like Guckert a few days ago. These activities occupied pretty much the whole day, so we just went to bed. On day 60 I went grinding in the mines, not for the same reasons from earlier, but because I wanted to find the last dwarf scroll we needed. We really wanted to do a Skull Cavern run soon, but we couldn't speak with the dwarf yet, so we also couldn't buy any bombs from him. The last dwarf scroll we needed was the dwarf scroll 3. It has a 1 in 66 chance of dropping from blue slimes, and a 1 in 200 from any other monster. Not too rare, so I must find it pretty soon, right? And over the course of the days 60, 61, 62 and 63, I've been looking for this damn scroll. I will just give you a brief summary of every day, cause you can imagine that these days were looking pretty repetitive. On day 61 I went to check the traveling cart and foraged a little before hitting the mines. Tigo also completed 2 bundles. And I don't know what he was doing after, but... Waking up on day 62, I harvested the eggplant and donated it to the community center for the fall crops bundle. I also donated the rare disc I had found yesterday to the museum. I also got the fun little Easter egg close to the Joja Mart. Reading this book will give me a greater chance to find items in trash. On day 63, Tigo found the truffle in the animal pen. He immediately donated it to the community center to finish up the chef's bundle. He also requested construction on a fishing pond. And remember how I said it's a 1 in 66 chance of getting a dwarf scroll from a blue slime? Well, I just got a prismatic shard from a blue slime. A 1 in 2000 chance, by the way. Not too long after, I also found the scroll actually. So it turned out to be a fantastic day. Day 64 started off with me running to the museum to drop off the scroll and collected the Dwarfish translation guide. I then went to speak with the dwarf to make sure it worked. Then I bought a bus ticket to the desert to get the galaxy sword. And so I used the prismatic shard and got my hands on the beautiful galaxy sword. I really wanted to test a new sword out, and what better place than the Skull Cavern. I quickly realized that it was pretty pointless what I was doing, so I just used the warp totem to get back to the farm. And we went to bed early that night. On day 65 we felt adventurous. I went to the dwarf and bought 22 bombs and 2 minor treats. We went to the desert and Tigo gave me some food and I gave him his miner's treat. And we descended right into the Skull Cavern. It has been some time since either of us has done a Skull Cavern run, so we didn't expect much. Also because we didn't have any staircases or an iridium pickaxe. And we did this the whole day and passed out at 2 AM to get as much value as we could. On day 66 the run turned out to be not too bad. We got 51 iridium ore plus the ores we already had. Brought us to 11 iridium bars. Tigo went to donate a bottle of wine to the community center and crack open all the Omni Geodes we collected yesterday. And he got really lucky. He got a prismatic shard shortly after I found mine. Getting one out of an Omni Geode is also pretty rare, with a 1 in 250 chance. He also requested construction for a new fish pond at Robin's. And I have been sorting out chests on the farm for the rest of the day. On day 67 I wasn't done sorting out chests just yet. Tigo, on the other hand, went back to the desert to get his galaxy sword. When he got back he checked the crab pot on the beach I had placed so many days ago, and there was actually a lobster in it. So he went to the community center and completed the crab pot bundle. And with that, also the whole fish tank. I was also able to donate a yam today to the fall crops bundle. I pretty much stayed on the farm doing some chores for the rest of the day though. And overnight, the glittering boulder had been removed. At the start of day 68, I went to Marnie's ranch to buy some more hay for our animals. We were almost out, and of course we didn't want our animals to starve. Late in the afternoon we were discussing on how we should set up our sprinklers for the next batch of pumpkins. We didn't want to add any extra sprinklers, but just change the layout. Day 69. It started out by doing some chores on the farm until I got a notification that there was a train passing through the Stardew Valley. I went over to the train and got a few resources from it. It really wasn't worth it though. Meanwhile, Tigo was building a little tree farm in the desert for some extra oak resin and wood. I spent the rest of the day chopping down trees around the valley, for also some extra wood. Going into the night, there came a witch flying by on her broom, and she gave us a void egg. On day 70, the first pumpkin harvest was ready. We have been excited about this for a few days now. While Tigo was picking the pumpkins, I noticed that the sturgeon, yes we put sturgeon in the ponds, wanted a present. He wanted a diamond. So I just handed it over to him and he was happy, I guess. Tigo reached level 10 farming from all of this, so I went to buy new pumpkin seeds. Tigo also put his first batch of pumpkins in the kegs for some juice. Back on the farm I planted the new seeds and went over to Robin to move the barn one more time. Just one tile to the left, so it looked perfect with the fishing ponds underneath. I was also a little surprised by the stone fences, or walls I guess. On day 71 the corn was ready to be picked. I picked it and took it to the community center and completed the fall crops bundle, and with that the pantry has also been completed. I went back to the farm and pet all the animals and started collecting good quality items for tomorrow. When we went to bed that night, we saw the greenhouse being repaired by the Junimos. Tigo also sold all of his artisan goods today, because he had the artisan perk now. That also resulted in a pretty nice paycheck. In the morning of day 72 I went to check out the greenhouse. And yeah, it was a greenhouse. At 9 o'clock that day, there was a Stardew Valley fair. I immediately put the stuff in the box and told Lewis he could look at it. And ours took a win, with a rating of 98. So I just put all the 1000 points I got on green and bought myself the star drop. Tigo didn't want to risk all his points, so he played the fishing minigames a few times to get his remaining points. And then he also bought his star drop and this hat he couldn't stop smiling about. We forgot to take our items back from the box, so we would have to get that another day from the towns lost and found. Now with having such a heavy wallet on day 73, we thought we'd let him breathe a little. So we both upgraded our pickaxe to iridium, still from our last Skull Cavern trip. I didn't really know what to do with the rest of my day, so I was just gonna try to catch the anglerfish close to the waterfall. And I hooked it on the third fish. It wasn't as hard as I expected. I also put it in the community center tank to showcase it, and we just went to bed. On day 74 our first batch of pumpkin juice was ready, so I grabbed all of them and refilled our kegs with pumpkins. I also went to the secret woods for the first time to get some hardwood. Tigo has been there a few times, but I just hadn't really thought about going yet. While I was walking back to the farm, Tigo also caught his anglerfish. I just smelted some ores for the rest of the day, something I haven't done in a while, and we went to bed early that night. Day 75. I went to the Star Drop Saloon to start off the day, and bought us some salads, 30 for the both of us. It was also time to pick up my iridium pickaxe. I was really happy with it. We also barely had any wood left, so I just chopped down trees for the remainder of the day. On day 76 we were starting to worry. Let me explain. We still needed 3 items for the community center. 2 winter forageables. Those are not accessible right now. And a rabbit's food. That was a problem. Because when I looked it up online, a Reddit user said he only got it at 4 hearts friendship with his rabbit. The wiki said it depended on your daily luck and the rabbit's mood. Our rabbit was still at 1 heart friendship. If any of these statements were true, there could have been a chance that we didn't get it at all. But there was one other way. Killing mummies or serpents in the Skull Cavern. There was a small 0.4% chance it would drop upon killing it. So Tigo grinded out the Skull Cavern for the whole day. He didn't get one though. On day 77 however, luck was on his side. He got a rabbit's food from a serpent. Now there was nothing standing in our way from completing the community center anymore. As for me, I just did some chores around the farm and gathered some wood in the Cindersap forest. I finished up the day by fishing in the river for some fish I hadn't caught yet, to expand my collection. Tigo also donated the rabbit's food to the community center and it also ticked off the bulletin board. When we woke up on day 87, I went to pet the animals, but when I walked into the coop, there was a rabbit's foot. The timing could not have been more funny. We were annoyed at first, but looking back at it, it's really funny. Then I caught some fish I hadn't caught yet. This kept me busy for the rest of the day. Tigo has actually done a good deed today. He found Robin's lost axe and returned it to her. A bit late, considering we got that quest in spring, but hey, better late than never. Yesterday there was a thunderstorm, so when we woke up on day 79, we could collect some more battery packs from the lightning rods Tigo had placed a few days ago. I kept myself busy catching mine fish today. On floor 20 I got a stonefish, on floor 60 a ghost fish and an ice pip, and on floor 100 a lava eel. If you think I was done fishing, think again, cause there are still day 80. Today I dedicated my whole day to fishing yet again. You see, we are going for perfection. Not in these 100 days of course, but in another video. If you want to see the 200 days video, don't forget to subscribe. But back to the fishing. At the end of the day I caught a midnight carp. I don't think I ever caught this fish and I was really proud of it. Day 81 was a rainy day, just what I wanted. I still needed to catch a few fish in the rain, like a red snapper and an eel. So I got myself a red snapper and then took the bus to the desert to catch a sandfish. When I got him too, I quickly took the bus to the valley to catch myself that eel. You can only catch it after 4 PM, so that's why I went to the desert real quick. I woke up on day 82 having caught all the fish I could catch in fall. And since I had to do something, I just went to the Cindersap forest and cut down trees again. Meanwhile, Tigo was grinding bugs in the mines in an attempt to get his hands on an ancient seed. He had been doing that for the past 2 days too. But today was his lucky day. He got the ancient seed. I also requested construction on my house today. Not because it was necessary, but I would have to do it someday. We went to bed that night feeling happy. Especially Tigo. Day 83. There was a new pumpkin harvest ready today. And I just harvested those, cause we were both farming level 10 anyway, so it didn't really matter. Then I just put them in the pumpkin chest and took care of the animals. Tigo pointed out that the sweet gemberry was also ready today. So he picked it and took it to the secret woods to get our 3rd star drop. You apparently only need 1 sweet gemberry for the both of us, so I just shipped the other one. It was also Spirit's Eve later that night. There isn't much to do at that event, so we both got our golden pumpkin and we left. When we woke up on day 84, our void chicken had grown up, from when Tigo had incubated it all those days ago. Tigo also donated his ancient seed to the museum today, and planted the plantable ancient seed that he got as a reward from donating in the greenhouse. And I visited Willy today, and bought a big stack of bait and 2 more crab pots. We also wanted to access the sewer soon, and with that in mind, Tigo donated as much as we still had in our chests. But we were just too short to get the key. We both walked around the valley in hopes to get a dig spot for some artifacts. I found one, but the last one would have to wait for another day. Day 85 is the first day of winter. It really is just the final stretch to the 100 days now. Remember when I said that we only needed 2 more winter forageables to complete the community center? Well, today it was winter, so we basically just walked around the valley to find the crocus and the snow yam. Tigo found the crocus, but there was no sign of a snow yam. Tigo also constructed another fish pond today, by the way. On day 86, Tigo found a snow yam in a dig spot at the end of the day. So of course we went to the community center and completed the last bundle. And with that, also the whole community center. Back on the farm, I also just planted those winter seeds. We didn't have any crops this season anyway. During the night to day 87, the bridge to the quarry had been repaired. So Tigo immediately went there and smashed the mythic stone. He got another prismatic shard, which he donated to the museum. That was also the last item we needed to get the sewer key from Gunther. In the meantime, I went to the museum to collect our trophy for completing the community center. Afterwards, we cleared out the quarry together and we got a little distracted by the golden scythe from the cave. Later in the evening, I put a lava eel in a new pond Tigo constructed a few days ago. On day 88, we got the sewer key from Gunther and a mail from Willy saying he has something to show in the back of his shop. So first we went to the beach and into Willy's shop. He showed us his old boat and we needed to collect some resources to repair it. We will do that in the coming days. We also went to the sewer to buy our 4th star drop from Krobus. Then we just fished in the sewer to try and catch the mutant carp, which wasn't too hard and we got after a few tries. We dedicated day 89 to the talisman quest for the wizard. We went into the secret passage into the sewer and collected the talisman. Afterwards, Tigo went to the railroad to open the door to the witch's swamp. There was a goblin blocking our way to the witch though, so we fished in the pond in order to get the void mayo. We didn't get one. We did both get the void salmon for our fishing collection however, so Tigo went back to the farm and got the green goblin away. Then we were able to grab the magic ink from the witch's hut and bring it to the wizard. We were now able to construct Junimo huts. On day 90 I went back to fishing for the collection. I was trying to catch multiple fish, including an octopus, which I didn't get. For the rest of the day there was nothing special, so we just went to bed. Day 91 was also a fish day. I fished in the ocean and in the river, but still no octopus. I did get many other new fish though. Day 92 was a good luck day, so Tigo bought some bombs and miner streets. So we went to the desert with the warp totem and we hit the skull cavern. And we were actually doing really well. We also got a prehistoric floor where Tigo got a dino egg, so he definitely incubated that in our coop. At day 2 we got down to floor 79 and we had a lot of iridium to show for it. We got about 170 iridium ore. Not too bad at all. With these iridium bars, along with the hardwood and some battery packs, we went to Willy to repair his boat on day 93. And it was successful, and the boat will be repaired overnight. Tigo also got the prismatic jelly quest from the quest board today. We both looked in the mines to try and find it, but without any luck. On day 94 the winter forageables were ready along with some pumpkin juice. After doing these chores, we went over to the boat and headed right for Ginger Island. Once on Ginger Island, we immediately started collecting some golden walnuts and spoke with Leo. We both forgot to take our watering can today, so we couldn't do the volcano dungeon just yet. Then we cleared out the way to the farmhouse and collected a few more walnuts before setting up a tent and going to bed. On day 95 we woke up on Ginger Island for the first time. I started out the day by doing this Simon Says puzzle. And yes, trying, cause I didn't complete it. Tigo, on the other hand, was using his clever technique to get us another golden walnut. With our hands on 10 more golden walnuts, we repaired the bridge to the dig site where there was someone stuck behind a big pile of rocks. I tried freeing him with my pickaxe, but the rocks wouldn't budge. After not knowing how to free him, we went back to the farm. We also sold all our pumpkins and pumpkin juice we still had left over. And we made 1 million total today. Day 96. We went back to Ginger Island at the start of the day with our watering can this time. We planned on doing the volcano dungeon, and that's what we did. We explored every corner of the volcano and got some cinder shards. We also bought the island warp totem recipe. I got another prismatic shard from destroying a mythic stone. Once we arrived at the top layer, we both got another prismatic shard and were able to enchant our tools. I haven't done that yet though. But Tigo has. He got powerful on his pickaxe. After this, it was already getting late, so we set up a tent and we went to bed. On day 97, we got every fossil we could get our hands on from the dig site. Tigo also freed the guy behind the rocks with a mega bomb. We donated all the fossils to that same guy and got some golden walnuts as a reward. There were a few fish I had to catch on Ginger Island. The lionfish and the blue disc fish. I caught both and afterwards I went back to the farm, cleaned up my inventory and we went to bed. During the night of day 98, the witch dropped another void egg in our coop. Not that important, but you know, she still did it. In the morning I went to the museum to donate some more artifacts. I also picked up the ancient seed from the rewards. On the farm, I also planted it in the greenhouse. Then I went back into town, and to the blacksmith specifically. I cracked open 4 new artifact troves and got 2 new artifacts. For the remainder of the day, I decided I wanted to try and catch the glacier fish in the Cindersap forest. After a few hours, Tigo joined me, but we sadly didn't get it today. On day 99, Tigo did manage to catch the glacier fish while I was fishing in the ocean, and he put it in the community center fish tank. At 5 PM, I entered the submarine at the night market to catch 3 more fish I hadn't caught yet. The blobfish, the spookfish, and the midnight squid. And I caught all of them in a few hours actually. Day 100! When I woke up, I put all the fish I caught yesterday in the shipping bin and I went to the Cindersap forest to catch the glacier fish. While I was doing that, Tigo upgraded his house. And I got it after a few attempts. I dropped it off at home and I went to the night market. where we both just stood on the pier thinking about the past 100 days, till we passed out at 2 AM. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It would help the channel a lot. And we did achieve all of our goals actually, so stay tuned for the 200 days video. Also, thanks to Tigo for playing these 100 days with me. I'll see you in the next one.